I'm sick and tired of people who are against what's going on in the Channel being called racist, for saying that it's a poor expenditure of public money, and for being concerned that the demographics of their town, village or city might change. You are indeed the not-so-silent majority for being worried about this, aren't you?
Right, but there's some fantastic stuff. I don't know whether you've seen what's breaking tonight. Unbelievably, some BBC reporters, right, which you find hard to believe, but they do employ them, posed as migrants and discovered that the French lay on free bus service from the camps outside Dunkirk, which then ferries the migrants in, who then hide in the dunes, although everybody knows where they are, waiting for the boats to turn up, and then they head our way. So it's not as though the French, Macron and his mates, don't know what's going on. There are actual free buses, presumably funded by the French taxpayer, who are actually bringing these people to Dunkirk and to the dunes and then going over. And what this proves conclusively is that despite us sending 50, 60 million a year to them, or whatever we're sending to them, they are in some kind of conspiracy with the migrants in order to help them get out of France and into the UK. A, because it helps their own position, and I do understand that, but also it actually causes us a problem, which cheers them up as well. Do you realise, I just did a bit of research before I came on tonight, there are now 36,000 that have come over this year. The towns, that's bigger than the towns of Boston in Lincolnshire, bigger than Braintree in Essex, and what about this one? Bigger than Canterbury. We are developing huge towns. We can't cope, as Trust proves conclusively. We can't cope. We haven't got enough money even to have enough GPs or nurses or get the holes in our roads filled.
No.
So what on earth are we going to do with 36,000 people costing us millions a day in hotels? Where is this money coming from? And why is it that Truss feels that she doesn't need to say anything about this? What she does say about is finances. And what's the effect of that? It's driven up our mortgages. She would get elected as Prime Minister again in 2024 if she says, I've got a solution and I proved it.
But we've got a solution, Kelvin. We've got a solution. We're just not allowed to do it. Part of that solution is getting those flights on the tarmac, on the runway and off to Rwanda. But unfortunately, all these lefty charities and lawyers or whatever are coining it off the top by sending us to court and saying that we can't do this because it's absolutely unfair, right? So basically, the government obviously wants to see these asylum seekers who are coming across the channel go to Rwanda. Do you think they actually will be taking off at any point? Because we've already lobbed the Rwandans about 150 million.
I do. I think the government will win this case. They won before, but the other side demanded a more extensive trial. Effectively, I think we are going to win it. Even if we win it, though, Patrick, we're talking about a couple of hundred people. How on earth are we supposed to move 36,000 people who have no intention whatsoever of leaving our shores? Why should they? They're living rent-free, the food's paid for, everything's fine.
Well, it's a better setup. It's a better setup than any student in this country right now. They're not coming out of it with 20-odd grand's worth of debt. They're not having to pay for their own food. And you know what as well? You've got residents, poor residents, sitting there who've got a hotel full of these migrants who have got nothing to do all day, by the way, so they're just hanging around. And
they're not allowed to work, are they?
Well, they're not allowed to work, but there's also nothing for them to do, so they're just hanging around. And then you get poor old Marjorie from Maidenhead who pipes up and says, actually, to be honest with you, I don't feel quite as safe as I used to walking home from Aldi. Now Marjorie's a racist, Kelvin. I mean, it's news to me. It's absolutely unbelievable.